Well, good morning there. Hello. It's Veterans Day. It is November 11th, so that's also 11/11. So we'll talk about that a little bit today. So how's everybody doing today? It's a little bit chilly here today. It's 35 here on Apple Watch, and I guess it's supposed to be about 58 or so today. It's nice and sunny. Elisa, good morning, good morning. I love your new logo, Elisa. That is awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so today I've got my old background back together here, and I've got my, wrong way. I've got my sparkly trees here going in the background, so I'm good to go. I got plenty of light. I've got a ton of window light out here, a little bit of light over here. So we're looking good. Yeah, that's cold here. Yeah. What is it like in beautiful sunny California? What's the weather going to be like there today? What's the temperature so I can feel really like bad? No. No, it's actually beautiful and sunny here, and so it's not bad at all. Not bad at all. So got a lot to talk about today. So if you're on here, say hello. And if you want to come on to the show and be a part of the show, let me know. And I'll bring you on and we can chit chat. And it's real simple. I'll just put the link in the comments. You can hop on there. If you want to do that, make sure you have headphones on. Otherwise, we'll have an echo. But other than that, good morning, Janet. Yeah, we got some sunshine today, but it's 68 in beautiful sunny California now, and it's early there. But Elisa is an early riser, which is good. All right, so why don't we get the show going? So here's the tease. So if you were truly being you, what would you do? What would you say? How would you be? Who would you be? So stay tuned today, because we're going to talk about what it would be like to be truly you. And we're going to break that down and dive into it. And I've got some personal stories to talk about that. It's just really been on my mind lately because my coach has been working with me on having me really figure out who I am at my core. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to look at some funny clips today because I always want to bring in something funny and joyful. And so we're going to do that. We're going to actually have a clip by George Carlin, who is funny, but also talks about how he became who he was. We're going to talk a little bit about 11/11, what the origin of that is. And we're going to, what else? We're going to talk a little about the vaccine, which is really good news. And of course, meme of the week. So let's go ahead and get the show started. Alrighty. Welcome. My name is J. Scott MacMillan. I am the author of the book, Be the Hero of Your Life, which is a book about how to get your life unstuck when you've hit that roadblock and you can't seem to figure out how to get your life moving forward, to find your purpose, to live your dreams. And this is a book that I wrote because I was there. I was stuck. I wasn't able to get my life moving forward, and I went on a quest to figure it out. And I found the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is a format and a theme that I use to help myself get unstuck and move forward. And it's what I walk you through in the book. So you can pick that up at any bookstore where books are sold. I'm also an NLP certified life coach, and I help clients do exactly what I just said, what I wrote in the book. That's how I coach my clients. And so today we're going to talk about being you. Me being me, you being you, and what that really means. But before we dive in, I've got something really exciting to tell you about. I've been working on this for about a year, and it really is to create an online program of my book. And I have kind of gone through stops and starts of trying to get this out there, but I finally decided to put it out there. I'm still working on all the nuts and bolts, but it's going to drop on Black Friday. And it's really a 6-week program that's going to cover everything that's in the book. And I'm going to help walk you through your own personal hero's journey, step by step. And we're going to have lots of videos, lots of exercises, and we'll get on a Zoom call once a week for these 6 weeks. And we'll talk about our hero's journey, and we will get our lives unstuck together. So, like I said, that is dropping on Black Friday. I'm really super excited. So what I want you to do now is go get on the wait list, because the first 10 people that sign up and buy the course are going to get a special bonus that nobody else is going to get. So I want you to hop on over to, let me see if I can pop this up here. I haven't done this yet. Let me see. I'm going to do a text overlay, and I want people to go to www.hjsfnow.com. Let's see if this works. It's in yellow. That's funny. Yeah, HJ, Hero's Journey Success Formula. That's the name of the program. Hop on over there now. You can get on the wait list. And like I said, being on the wait list gets you a special bonus. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's special. No one else is going to get it but you if you get on the wait list. All right. So enough of that. Anyway, so I've got some funny video clips today. And I'll just warn you right off the top. If you don't like spicy language, then you're probably not going to like these clips. And we'll talk a little about this more as we go into today's show, about why I'm going to show some of these clips, and why maybe if you've tuned in before, you are wondering, why is he showing these clips with dirty language in them? Well, part of it is I'm trying to be me. And although I don't use swear words all the time or whatever, I think they're appropriate every once in a while, and sometimes I think they're darn funny. So I'm just trying to be me a little bit more. And these were some funny clips. This was a funny clip. So we're going to talk a little bit about, we're also going to talk a little bit more about, you know, the pandemic and what's going on, and maybe a little politics here and there, because those are things that I'm into and are important to me. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But okay, so here's a really funny clip. So everybody knows that's on here. We're talking about the elections. I know, Lisa, the F-bombs are kind of funny sometimes, so I think you'll really appreciate this one. So to set this up, yeah, we're talking about the election, and a reporter is going to interview somebody, and, well, let's just watch what happens.
Has some new reporting on something that we talked about at the top of the hour, how the Trump administration is handling the transition with the incoming Biden team, or not handling it, we should say, to a certain extent. This time, it involves our intelligence community. Ken, what have you learned, sir?
Oh, shit. Fuck.
Okay. Think we lost Ken for a second.
I'm sorry. The reporter, his face is just priceless. Hopefully you heard that. He cuts in there and he's like, oh, shit, fuck. And he's like, and the reporter's like, okay. And it's so funny because I don't know if any of you watch the Rubin Report, but it's an online sort of news channel. And he introduced that clip, and he was just saying, you know, it shows that these reporters sometimes are humans. And, you know, they're all buttoned up and they've got to look all professional and everything. And he was professional there, but it's funny. He didn't know how to handle that or whatever. And that stuff happens. And I thought that was just hilarious. And it was sort of timely because it talked about the election. I know. Can you imagine that? That guy afterwards? Oh, my gosh. Anyway, so, all right. So, so this next clip, well, I'm going to wait and save this next clip actually till we get into it. But a couple other things in the news. So today's 11/11, and I hear a lot of people see a lot of people that are, it's very significant. The number's 11/11. In fact, Elisa on here, you probably know quite a bit about that. Kind of new to me. It's not really a numbers thing. I'm not really into numerology or whatever it is, but I thought, well, this is interesting. And I think Adiana, are you on here yet? Adiana is usually here. I think you posted something about it being 11/11/2020, which I guess that is very significant, of having double numbers or something like that. I'm not sure. But here is a article on Oh, here's my little window. So I want to get this nice and big here so we can see it, hopefully. All right, hold on. Okay. Well, that's not working for me. Hold on a minute. All right, hopefully this will work and you can see that. Anyway, so here are 5 reasons why you're seeing 1111 and kind of what it's a little bit about. So let's see if I can make this bigger. There we go. Okay, we don't need that. Okay, so first one. The first meaning is pay attention to your thoughts as an opportunity portal is opening up for you. So there's lots of detail in here that I'm not going to obviously go through and read, but does anybody on here relate to these numbers, 1111? Is it something that you look for, and what does it mean to you? Be curious to know. Again, just drop a comment in here, or if you want to come in and talk about it, let me know. And we'll come on here and talk about some of this stuff. But the second one is everything is the result of your thoughts and feelings. So we talk about that a lot on here, so that's interesting. That 1111 can mean that, which I fully believe that every thing that is the result in our life is about our thoughts and feelings. So that's interesting. If I see 1111 next time, I'm going to think about that. Yes. So Lisa says it's my life path number. Well, what does that mean, Lisa? What's a life path? Don't know what that is. So third one is a deceased loved one is sending you a message. I've heard that before, that people see 1111 and they see that as a sign from a loved one that's passed on, which is wonderful. The next one, you're on a path of awakening as you remember yourself. So this might have to do with past lives, or that you're awakening. I love that you remember yourself. That's an interesting one. Again, I'm not that versed in past lives, but I know that it is an issue, and I've had some clearings done that have gotten rid of some stuck energy in past lives. I don't really understand that, but I'm glad it's cleared out. It worked for me. Fifth meaning is set an intention, make a wish, and take action. So that's cool. Every time you see 1111, to set an intention. I like that one. I like that one a lot. And then take action. So these are kind of new to me. So this last one just says the overall meaning of 1111 is that you can start manifesting your true self, your soul's desire. Now that has a lot to do with what we're going to talk about today, and like what we've talked about before, that manifesting your true self. What is your soul's desire? We're going to talk about that in more detail today. Okay, so I thought that was interesting. Let me pop back here. Oh, can't do that. There we go. All right, so that is that. So yeah, what's a life path number, Lisa? So when you get a minute, pop that in there. I'd be curious about that. All right, so here is the next one. We're going to talk a little bit about the vaccine, because it's pretty significant, pretty amazing. All right, so we'll pull that over here, and we're going to make this a little bit bigger. Or are we? There we go. This is kind of a funny little thing on here with Joe Biden's face in these little bottles. I don't know if you can see that. But I'm going to read some of this because this vaccine is potentially a game changer, right? And so, that's the other thing I'd like to know, if anybody's on here, to put in the comments what their belief is on vaccines in general. And do you guys think that you're going to get the vaccine when it comes out? Maybe when I read some of this, or that you've researched this, maybe it'll change your mind. I don't know. But let me read some of this. So we heard yesterday, I guess, that Pfizer came out and it received very early, but very promising results, suggesting that its COVID-19 vaccine candidate could be more than 90% effective. That's the game-changing number, because typically, I think it says in here, but typically like the flu vaccine is 40 to 60 max percentage effective. So this is amazing if it truly pans out to be this way. But anyways, so they are, the company plans to seek emergency authorization from the FDA later this month when required safety data are complete. So they think in a couple of weeks they could be ready for this, and that by December, I think people will be able to, the first responders, looks like they'll be able to take this. So it says, if authorized, the initial rollout of the vaccine will likely begin in the fractious period of time before the inauguration under a lame duck president. Yeah, this is getting into this. So without getting into it in too much detail of this, the article is basically saying like it's going to be interesting, a challenging time when there's so much going on and the pandemic is rising, to then get this vaccine out to people, and it could be a little bit challenging. And it goes into talk a little bit about how Biden's going to have to truly, calm things down to try to get people to believe that this vaccine is going to work. And we'll see what the current lame duck president thinks about that and how he's going to behave in there. Hopefully good, because this is serious stuff. So it says 90% efficacy is far better than 50% set by the FDA. So they only expected 50%. So if it came out with 50%, FDA was going to approve it anyway. So this is like woohoo. So let's see. So the closer a COVID-19 vaccine gets to preventing all infections, the stronger the case for it. So we'll see when it rolls out, but it looks very promising. It says, but here's some of the political controversy that we're going to weigh into a little bit. We're not going to weigh into it, but this is just part of the article. And it says, as Trump repeatedly promised a speedy vaccine approval before the election, Democrats especially grew concerned about politics overtaking safety. The percentage of Democrats willing to take a vaccine fell from 83% in July to 53% in September, according to the Gallup poll. So that's interesting. So we know that, a lot of the Democrats, or people that identify as Democrats, are now skeptical. Under the best case scenario, a Trump administration that wants credit for developing a vaccine and a Biden administration that wants credit for administrating it end up doing the same thing and persuading Americans to get vaccinated. So maybe it'll work out both ways, and better. That's what this article is saying. I think that's good. All right, so more about this. So the politicians won't be the best messengers to encourage people to get the vaccine, because by the very dint of the fact, interesting word, that they are polarizing figures. So Biden will have to turn to other groups to boost confidence in the vaccine. Healthcare workers will play a crucial role. So hopefully the healthcare workers will get vaccinated first. It will work for them, and they will encourage everyone to get vaccinated. Course correcting will be difficult. So the first message about the COVID-19 vaccine are the ones that most likely sticking. That the vaccine will likely be rolled out during the lame duck period is both a potential opportunity to bridge partisanship and a potentially liability during the extremely contentious transition of power. Whether the process goes well or poorly, the Biden administration is going to inherit it one way or the other. So lots of stuff in this article. It's about the vaccine, but obviously it was a political tone to it. But everything right now has a political tone to it. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, but this is what's happening in our country now, and you can't ignore it. I used to try to ignore a little bit about politics and not want to wade into it here. But if I'm being truly me, I'm interested in this stuff, and I want to talk about it to a certain degree. I'm a centrist, so I can see both sides of these issues for the most part. And so for me, it's about coming together and discussing it and not being so polarized on the opposite ends. And so that really is one of my goals, is to bring people together to talk about this stuff in the middle and to be able to see a little bit from both sides. And so from this perspective, there's lots of issues involved in this, that we've got, the politics of this, which shouldn't really be involved in it, but it is. It's our life these days. And this COVID situation is crazy, and you've got, the president who, has downplayed it. And there are people that believe that. And then you've got a lot of the scientists and a lot of the Democrats, if you will, that do believe in it, are taking it seriously, or mostly seriously. And so we've got this political tension, we've got this pandemic, and we've now got politics injected into the middle of it. And that is frustrating to a lot of us. But it is what it is, right? So this article, what I like about it is just hoping that the president can take credit for getting it out there, getting this vaccine out as fast as it can, and then Biden can take credit for administrating it and getting out to the people. Win-win. So that's what I'm hoping for. So I don't know if anybody has any comments about that, but I'm excited because I'm tired of this COVID thing, and I take it pretty seriously. And I want to get out and start doing stuff again. And my hope is that this starts being administrated in the spring, and that by the summer we can maybe start getting back to getting out. Now, I always say on the show is that I don't want to get back to normal. I want to get back or get to being better than we were, better than I was, better than we all were. But it'd be nice to get out again. Okay, so let's get back to the numbers here a minute. Lisa's put some interesting stuff in here. So let me put you on screen here. So she says it's the number you get from the numerological reduction of your date of birth. Oh, okay. And then this one. 11/11/2020. 1 is best leader. 11 is most psychic. 22 is best builder. Great manifesting day. Oh, cool. Cool. Well, thanks, Elisa. Yeah, let me get that one back up here for a minute. Yeah. Number 1. 1 is the number that brings life to all of the single-digit numbers and is the root for the base of everything. Ooh, yeah. Thanks, Elisa. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, I'll put you in touch with Elisa. Here's her information. She knows a lot about this stuff, and she's a beautiful artist, does amazing artwork, custom artwork that you can buy. Excuse me. She also does wonderful meditations, and she is excuse me. I'm going to be offering some of her lovely meditations as part of the Hero's Journey Success Formula. So if you get into the program, you will get these 5 beautiful meditations from Elisa. You're welcome. You're welcome, my dear. Okay. All right. So let's hop into the main topic that I wanted to get into today, and that is being you. So it's a concept that I've been thinking about a lot lately. My coach has been challenging me to really think about if I'm truly being me, what would I do? And so she challenged me. She says, "What if I were truly being me? What would I be? Where would I be? When would I be? How would I be? And why would I be?" And it sounds kind of quirky at first, but if you really think about it, there's so many times in our lives where we aren't really truly being ourselves, that we're putting masks on, or we're trying to be something that isn't truly us for various reasons. Sometimes it's just we want other people to like us or fit in. That's pretty normal. For me, that was the big thing. I've always been a bit of a chameleon and tried to fit in and wanted to fit in, and I would change how I behaved based on what was going on in the room. Now, I used to think that was a good thing, and sometimes it is. In business, I think it can be good that you can read a room and be able to communicate effectively with who you're talking to. But I've noticed in my personal life that when I do that, it's not me. I'm not truly being me, and that can cause some problems, down the line. So it can be subtle. And I always thought that for me, telling the truth, being overtly truthful at all times was the big thing. That to me was being authentic and truthful. And I didn't realize that it's more than that. It's truly walking your talk, and how you're thinking and talking, you must behave that way too to be truly authentic. And like I said, I didn't see this until somebody pointed out to me that I was being inauthentic one day, and that hit me like a ton of bricks. I thought, really? And I never thought about it. And when I really did think about it, I realized that it was true. And I didn't see it. But let me tell you about a little story that where this came up for me. So I was in a relationship that was pretty short but pretty intense, and I actually fell madly in love, and in like this 3 4 short months, and but she wasn't really ready to settle down, and so it kind of morphed into a friends with benefits kind of a thing, and that's what she really understood, that that's really what it was, and it worked for her, and for me, it worked for me, sort of, because that's not what I wanted. I wanted a real relationship, and I kept thinking that if I hung in there and went along with this situation, that she would come around and that she'd realize I'm the one, and that we'd fall madly in love, and big fantasy. So one day on Valentine's Day, we were in this sort of friends zone, friends with benefit zone, and we'd see each other maybe once a month, maybe a couple of months or whatever. And I invited her over for Valentine's Day, and I made a big deal out of it. I had planned to have this elaborate romantic dinner. I created this really cool invitation that basically, was going to set everything, the tone for this beautiful romantic dinner, and invite her over. And when she got the invitation, I mean, it was clear that this was going to be a romantic, wonderful Valentine's dinner or whatever. So awesome. Most women would love that from their man. Well, but in her mind, that's not what this was. This wasn't a romantic, long-term, loving relationship where this was appropriate. But in my mind, I was confused. I thought, this is how I felt inside, even though I was outwardly going along with the show, that this was just sort of a not a real relationship. But in my mind, in my heart, I wanted it to be so bad. And so I just was being inauthentic. I didn't realize it, but I was projecting that out. And so she just told me, after she got the invitation, she's like, this is sweet and everything, but it feels inauthentic. It's not really where we are. And of course, I got all pissed off and said, well, fine, and canceled everything, and was pissed or whatever. But once I thought about it, I realized that she was right, that my actions weren't congruent with what I was saying, because I was telling her that I'm okay with this pseudo relationship, but I wasn't. And that's when it hit me, and I realized that it can be subtle, because it's not like I was out there telling lies, but I just wasn't walking my talk. That's the way I like to put it. And so it really woke me up, and I started to understand this whole thing about being authentic. That's what so I've tried to live what I call an authentic life, and still I don't do it. And part of that is even at a deeper level, where I still am trying to fit in places, or I've been in other relationships where I give over to the relationship and I try to be what they want me to be, or I think that they might be, and it's not truly authentic. And so my coach is working with me on this, and it's like, if you truly were you, if you could just have anything that you wanted, be anything that you wanted to be, what would you be? How would you be? And so I've been really thinking about that and trying to get in touch with that part of me that is like, if everything was cut away and I had no worries about the outside world of how I was going to be or perceived or whatever, what would I do? How would I be? And so I've been leaning into that. And so I wanted to talk about that today and challenge you to think about that on a deep level, because to get to the point where you are truly there, and I'm by no means there, you've really got to take some time out and really think about what's going on in your life and observe some situations where you really aren't being authentic, and that you're thinking one thing, and it's even thinking, not necessarily even saying, but thinking one thing and behaving another way. And it's my hope that when I get on that level where I really am comfortable with thinking, talking, being, doing, and then acting, and they're all congruent together, that'll be an amazing place to be. And I'm leaning into that. So I challenge you to think about that. And so if anybody on here has any comments about it, I'd love to hear what you think about that concept. If you think that you are there now, or that you are leaning into it, or if you never thought about that before. Because I think that using that example that I gave, no one would really, on the outside, would look at that story and say, "Oh yeah, well you were being a jerk or whatever, trying to do that." I was just trying to have a relationship, and relationships can be hard. There's people on different wavelengths or whatever, right? And the true authentic, if I had been truly authentic, and I learned a lot from that situation, would have been said, you're not really into that. This little whatever we're doing right now is not what I really want, so let's move on, and have moved on. But I didn't do that, and I've learned from that. And to me, that would have been extremely authentic. Would have been hard. Maybe not hard. I don't know, because I would have felt like this is truly me. I'm not going to say one thing and do another thing. So really, what does the self want? What does the soul want? And it's it's harder than it sounds. I would challenge you guys to really lean into this and see what you think. And it's most of it's about what society has told us, or what we've been taught by our parents to be, or again, what society says how we should act and how what we should do and how we should be. And really, is that always good for our souls? Now, obviously, you don't want to be unlawful or mean to people, and that's not what we're talking about at all. It's just really truly being comfortable enough to say to somebody, no, I'm not interested in this, or I don't agree with that, or but in a nice, cordial way. Again, we can all communicate together. So I think what this really is just, again, personal development. So part of this is in really trying to touch into this. When I first started this show, I was like, well, I want this to be about self-development, personal development, self-help, positive, uplifting show. I don't want to get too bogged down in politics and, the COVID, because it can be kind of negative. But, frankly, I'm interested in that stuff. I read a lot about it. I want to know about it. It's part of my life. So I can't really not talk about it. And if people don't resonate with it, then that's fine. They can move on and find other things. But if you're listening to what I'm talking about, I'm not doing it for sensational reasons. I'm not doing it to scare people. I'm doing it because I think it's involving all of us, and it involves me, and it's what I want to explore and talk about. And so I encourage to have discussions about it, not the kind of crap that's on social media that's just fighting and bickering back and forth. I want to come together and have real discussions about this stuff, even about politics, which can get kind of crazy. Like I said, I'm a centrist. I want to come together and talk, and I really don't personally appreciate the radical on both left and right. I don't like that position. To me, it's divisive, and I don't think it gets us anywhere. So I want to come together in the middle. And so whatever that's called, I don't know. I call it a centrist on the political side. And so that is what's really, in my heart, and what I want to talk about. Some people won't like it, because we're in this polarized state that if you say one concept, if I say that I voted for Joe Biden, then the people on the right, a lot of them on the radical side, will say, oh, you're a socialist and you want socialism. No, that's just a stretched out, made up, crazy, concept just to help divide us. And the same thing is, if you say you're for Donald Trump, then you hate people and that you're a white supremacist. No, it doesn't mean that at all. So we will be talking a little bit more about that. It's not going to be the focus, because the focus is self-help, self-development. How can we help ourselves be better people, be better for us, be better for the people around us, be better for the world? That's what I want to focus on. But these are our times. COVID is in our face. The election and politics are part of our life now. So that will be things that we'll be talking about a little bit, like I am today. Not trying to wade into all the controversy, but it's part of our lives. It's part of our lives. I think that when you finally get in touch with your soul and you align with that in your actions, in your behaviors, that you really just ascend to this whole new level. And that's really where I'm trying to get, is really to being congruent, just to not feel that dissonance anywhere inside where I'm thinking one thing but behaving another thing. And then a lot of it has to do with fear, at least for me. And that's, I'm fearful of saying things or getting into arguments or whatever. And I don't need to be fearful of that because I'm not trying to one up anyone anyways. Sometimes when I get into this and I can get kind of excited, my voice raises, which my daughter will tell me when we have discussions. She's like, calm down. And I'm like, I'm calm. But, I can get a little bit passionate in it and I might come off like, I'm being kind of cocky and a zealot. That's not it, really. I just get excited sometimes when I'm talking about this stuff. And it's not to. Sometimes I do get a little carried away, and I'm saying, look, I've studied this. This is, believe me. And I sometimes need to be reeled back, just like everyone. And I don't mean to really do that because it's not my point to like put it out on you and or someone else and say I'm right and you're wrong. It's sometimes just hard though, to be honest, to take a concept and to study it like I do. I take the time usually to try to look at both sides and really understand a situation. And when I think I've got a pretty good convincing argument and I can articulately talk about that, I can get kind of like, it's hard not to say, why don't you believe this? And for me, it's definitely not about sending out different videos and different memes, that align with my opinion, because I don't think that helps anybody. And to me, it cracks me up that people do that all the time. They see an article that aligns with their point and they send it out and say, look at this evidence. And most of the time, it's some wacky, off the chart media supposedly outfit that pretends to be real news, but puts stuff out on Facebook and social media, and it gets distributed. And that doesn't help anybody. It really doesn't. What helps is to come on shows like this or any show where we can get together and have a real discussion on it, and we can have different viewpoints, but by getting out information and not false information, but just what's our opinion, what do we believe, then we get to understand what do people think, and we know that there's a lot of division out there right now, and I just would like for us to come together and talk about it more in a calm and civilized manner. But when you get back, so coming back to being who we are, being genuinely us, you will find, because when I'm in that little glimpse of it, we're in our zone. We're in that zone easier. And there's this calming energy. And when you have this, where you are congruent, I believe that the people that really are in touch with this, and they're really walking their talk, when they walk into a room, you can just feel it. People want to be around people like that. They have good positive energy because they're just aligned with their soul and who they are, and they know who they are, and they don't have to pretend, and you can feel that and see that. And that's the kind of person I want to become, that it just is, the energy just is out there because I'm congruent inside and out. And I'm still working on that a lot. It's where I am right now. It's why I wanted to bring it up. So based on this, if you were truly being you, how would you be? Who would you be? How would you think? How would you say? What would you say? How would you feel? So, like I said, I'm going to be more true to who I am on the show even now. And, people have different ways of presenting information, up, down, some people are way off the chart, excited with tons of energy, some are low. I'm probably going to be in the middle. Like I said, I'm a centrist. But I want to bring up interesting ideas and topics. I want to stay mostly positive. But being truly me is we're going to talk about all topics. So if we talk about a little about politics and COVID right now, then we're going to do it because that's what's out there. So when I first started this, I did want to talk about COVID, but only in the sense that, hey, let's stay positive. let's keep a positive attitude because we want our immune systems to stay strong, because that's important in this time of COVID. And I still believe that, and I still espouse that, because we know mentally and physically they go together. So with so much stress out there, and there is a lot of hardship out there, people without jobs and people that are wondering where their next paycheck is going to come from, people that are sick, or family members that are sick with COVID or whatever. There's still a lot of other stuff out there that people are going through. Is to stay as positive as you can. You know, I was on a podcast yesterday, maybe Monday, and I was talking about my book, and she asked me a question about, what do you say to people that are really suffering, that are really just stuck, and they can't even conceive of having positive thoughts? And my answer to that was, our nervous systems really are dictating how we're feeling. And when we get wired up or stressed or depressed, our nervous systems feel that, and we're just tense and tight. And so I said, is there any way that you can loosen up your nervous system so that you can relax, so that the body can relax? Because the mind informs the body, and the body informs the mind, and it's just this circular tension that causes illness in the body. And so I said, yeah, if you can find a way to just relax for a minute. And what you want to try to do is understand the contrast of feeling tense and tight, and then also feeling calm and confident. And so part of this, I talked about meditation, and a lot of people say, well, I can't meditate and my mind is going crazy. And again, if you can just start with some breath, just breathe a couple times and try to see if that loosens up the body a bit. If you've been tight for a long time, you're probably not even going to feel this at first. But if you try it again the next day, and then the next day, you will begin to then feel those deep breaths calm the body down a little bit. Tension just release a tad. And when you do that, you can then feel the contrast, hopefully, between what it feels like to be extremely tight and nervous and anxious, and what it feels like to be relaxed and confident and open. And when you get really good at this, you can basically, and I challenge people to try this exercise, where basically you think of whatever state you're in, you think of being depressed in a tired, sort of maybe anxious state, and what that feels like in your body. And you can notice I'm always going like that, and what that feels like. And then clear your mind and take some deep breaths, and then think about being in a really positive situation and happy, and kind of pull your chest back and get a deep breath. And then feel into your body, what does that feel like? And feel the contrast between the two. And if you do that multiple days in a row, you will start to really understand that contrast. And then when you are out and about in life, and you can feel that tenseness in your body, like, oh, I'm feeling tense. And you know now what it feels like to feel relaxed. And then you can try to breathe or do whatever you can, maybe do some exercise to then loosen up and then get back into that positive posture, stance, breath. And that, to me, if you're in a really bad place and you really can't conceive of anything on the positive side, start there. Start with the body, start with breath. So these are some of the things that I think are really interesting. But it all comes back to what we're talking about today, too, is that why, are you really being you? A lot of us have a lot of fears out there, too. And the hero's journey talks about part of going through the hero's journey is facing our fears. And as we face our fears and go through that, that's all of our journeys. And when we come out on the other side, facing that fear, that's when we get to the treasure and have moved through the journey. And I was stuck in my journey for a long time in the fear of moving forward. But when you finally do, for whatever reason, that's when the power of going to that journey, facing that fear and going through the fear, is when you come out on the other side and you're like, okay, I get it. And if you haven't gotten to that point yet, then just breathe and get the body and the nervous system to calm down enough so you can face your fears. And knowing that really it's just moving through those fears that are really going to get you to the other side. And if you don't do anything, you're going to stay in that depressed, fearful state. So start by breathing. Start by learning the contrast between what it feels like to be anxious and what it feels like to be calm and relaxed. So I'm not sure how I got on that tangent, but I think it's important. I think it's definitely, part of what we're talking about here. So, so I encourage you to what is it like to be you? What does it feel like, to be you? And then take a next step further. If you could have anything you wanted, what would it be in this life? If you could do it or be anything or do anything, because you're truly being you, then you're infinite and you can do whatever. You just have to figure out a plan, get some action, and take it. But if you're caught up worrying about what everybody else thinks, and society thinks, and I can't do this, and what will they think? That's not going to get you anywhere. And it's going to keep you in your same stuck place. What would it be like if you could just truly be you? So, it's interesting. I sometimes look back on that relationship and I think, wow, that really changed my life. Thank God that ex-girlfriend was able to tell me that I was being inauthentic, and that I was in a position, in a place in my life where I could take that as good feedback. I mean, I was pissed at first, right? We all are. I'm human. But I took that feedback, and it really changed my life. Actually, it really was the basis of this book. I started to journal. And it became this book, and it changed my life. That one piece changed my life. So that's why I'm bringing it up today, because I think it can be extremely, extremely powerful. So, what does Elisa say? Yeah, I can't even pronounce this. The pranayama, life force energy is what Elisa says. That talking about the breath, I think, life force energy, and getting in touch with who we really are, and allowing that life force energy to come through. So, I don't know what you think about that. Interesting concept. Hopefully, you've got a little bit something out of that and can take that forward. I'd appreciate it if anybody has any comments, pop them in here. If somebody wants to hop on, we can do that too. But if not, I just want to remind you to. Elisa says yes. Yes to what? Do you want to come on and talk, or yes to life force energy? I just want to remind you about Hero's Journey Success Formula that's going to drop on Black Friday, and to get on to the wait list. And let me see if I can I pop that up there again? What? I guess I'm going to try. I'm going to do this again. I'm going to have to get this one. Maybe I have it. No. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Boom. There we go. Life Force Energy. Oh, I pronounced it right. Cool. Okay. Nice. Janet says positive affirmations to ourselves and others. Yeah. Positive affirmations to ourselves and to others. And it starts with ourselves, right? Yeah. You're in your jammies now, Lisa? Yeah, it's a little early there where you are, so totally get it. Totally get it. HJSFnow.com. Get on there. Get on the wait list. And get some special bonuses. Well, I might give you a hint. It's a tangible thing that you can hold in your hand. Some of these bonuses, and it's going to be fun. And you're going to be the only one that has it if you get on to the wait list early. So HJSF, that's Hero's Journey Success Formula. HJSFnow.com. Get on the wait list. Tell your friends about it. I'm going to be talking a lot more about it. I'm going to be blasting my social media because I got to get the word out. This is going to change people's lives. I truly believe that. And I'm so excited to get it out there to the world. And the book was great. And people have really responded well to it. But now we're going to be able to really dive in, really go one-on-one. You get to work one-on-one with me and really explore what your hero's journey is and learn this amazing technique that I have now coined MedViz, which is this powerful meditation combination with visualization that can really create and pull in the future, the beautiful future that you can visualize and create in your life. And it's changed my life. It's changed lives of my clients, and I know it can change your life. So you'll be hearing more about that. So I'm just excited to kind of let it out. I've been working on it, and I've got a lot more to get out there, but I am so excited to get it out there. So thanks, everybody. Thanks, Janet. Thanks, Elisa, for coming on today. I feel lighter. I don't know. I feel better. Just kind of getting this out and just being more of me. So I challenge you to think about that this week. And next week, we'll have another interesting topic. We'll get real. We'll talk about whatever's going on. And if you want to talk about something, PM me, DM me, leave me a comment, and we'll bring it up. And if you want to come on the show next time, let me know. It's so simple. I can pop people on here. And I had Adiana, a friend of mine, last week, and would love to do it. So thank you, everybody. Lisa says, have a beautiful day. Thanks for being me, and thanks for being you. I appreciate it. So until next week, we'll see you. Okay, that was the wrong one. Hold on. Wrong button. Still really the wrong button. Hold on.